Are you struggling with your mental health right now? Do you feel despair or that your life has ended and will never improve? I have prepared a very interesting interview with Dominique de Marné, who is a mental health visionary, CEO of Mental Health Crowd, and senior policy advisor on youth in Mental Health Europe. So let's play the video. Welcome. Thank you very much for coming. And can you tell me, or can you tell us a bit about yourself?
So my name is Dominique de Marné. I'm from Munich in Germany, and I'm a full-time mental health advocate, so to say. Really, my whole life surrounds around mental health, changing that and how we talk about mental health, because my own mental health has been not so good for quite a big part of my life. From the years of 15 to around 30, I was mentally ill, different diagnoses, lots of suffering, lots of darkness, no hope at all. And for 10 of those 15 years, I just didn't know what was going on with me. And then I finally found help, I got into therapy, and I realized, okay, we all have a mental health. It's quite common to have a mental illness. So why don't we talk about it? So this has become my mission, my ikigai. But apart from that, I love going into the mountains. I have a 2.5-year-old daughter, and I love Marvel movies. So I think that's the most important things about me that you have to know.
That's very nice. Yeah, you have been working a lot also because of your suffering, your own struggles with mental health. I know that you are a psychologist also, that you studied a combined degree, between psychology and communication. Am I right?
That's right.
Yeah, I am a psychologist too. And yeah, I also know from my own side because 11 years ago, I had an accident where I almost lost my life. But one of the things that I had during that time was dementia. Mm-hmm. And I also struggled a lot with anxiety for many years. So yeah, I know how important it is to be open about this topic of mental health, because in my opinion, it's still one topic that is like hidden.
Yes, very much so. I mean, I think it has gotten better over the past decades, and especially with COVID and all the wars and climate change. So we tend to talk a bit more about mental health, but not always in a good way. I mean, there's lots of, have you tried yoga, or just do mindfulness, or just do some stress reduction programs, or whatever it is, so that some people don't really feel comfortable around the conversation with mental health. And what I find, if you say mental health out on the streets to the people, the associations they have, they are not bright, colorful, happy ones, but they are sad. Piano music starts playing in the background, black and white pictures start showing up in your inner eye. You think about heaviness, depression, stress, and all that stuff. And as long as people out there associate mental health only with this corner of mental health, then nobody's motivated to open up to it, to learn something about it, to do something for your own mental health. And don't get me wrong, I know that this dark, heavy, illness-related continuum is one end of the continuum, but mental health is so much more. And in the one end, we have these heavy topics, and they are an important part. But there is so much more. When you're sitting on the beach drinking cocktails, or in the cinema watching Marvel movies, or up on a mountain and enjoying life, this is mental health as well. And this is what I'm trying to change with the Mental Health Crowd, my social enterprise, to really show that mental health can and is allowed to be fun, that we can talk about it normally, that wherever there's a human being, there's a mental health. If there is one thing that connects us all, it's having a mental health, apart from some other basic human things. And so this is really what I find for me. It could have changed something if these associations would have been broader, more colorful. And this is something I think that would help to really get this topic out of these taboo corners and out of the hidden corners.
So can you tell us about specific activities that your association is doing in order to promote mental health?
So on the one hand, we focus on mental health literacy. So really talking to people, because many people nowadays, they have mental health awareness. They know that mental health is a thing, like I said before, but then it stops. But all this knowledge, okay, what is this mental health? What can I do for it? How do I recognize it? How can I support somebody else? So all this with physical health, we know it. We know what we should do. It doesn't mean we always do it, but we know movement, not always sugar, no alcohol, blah, blah, blah. We know it in theory. We know how to support somebody with a broken leg and all that. But with mental health, we never learn it at school because there are no programs, and most of us, we don't learn it from our parents. So this is our one focus area, to strengthen the literacy. We developed a course, the Mental Health Guide. We go into companies, we go into schools, we go into universities. We do workshops that are very fun and very interactive. And really where we tell people, hey, this is mental health, and these are very small things that you can do every single day to strengthen your mental health. And the other part that we do, it has the hashtag mental health rocks, like it says on the back of my pullover as well. This is what I just said with, we want to stop this black and white piano music connections and we do events around mental health. For example, last year we did a mental health rocks run right in the city center of Munich, in the Olympic area. Hundreds of runners from all strength of life just came together and showed how colorful mental health is. And this is what we're doing more and more. We started before COVID, we had to stop, and now we're doing it again. So really putting the topic of mental health in areas where people don't expect it, at a fun community event, at a community kitchen, at a workshop where normally people build something out of wood or something. So that really people get in touch with the topic on a very easy level, and then they can learn more about it.
In my understanding from what you're doing basically is kind of reducing the stigmatization that we have to others' mental health and also to our own mental health, right?
Yes, because at the moment people think mental illness is weak, or it's your own fault, or somebody has to be blamed for it, and that's just not it. It's way more complex, and I'm convinced that with stigma, nobody gets up in the morning and thinks, okay, how can I stigmatize these mental ill people today? How can I really stigmatize them, make their life harder today? Nobody does that. What is behind the behavior that we see as stigmatization is insecurity, it's helplessness, it's a lack of knowledge. And if I feel these feelings toward a topic, then I always tend to push it away, and I don't want to get too close to that because I just don't know what to say, what to do. I'm running away. And this is something we can change by educating people, by strengthening the literacy. And in the end, it will reduce stigma by also helping understand people that this is something that affects me. And I mean, we don't have to look at the illness thing. For Germany, every third person will have some form of mental illness at one time in their life. So your chances to come across some people with mental illness are very high, and the chances of you to experience mental health are even higher.
Did you recently have an accident or the diagnosis of a disease? If so, I want to share that 11 years ago I had a big accident where I almost lost my life. From this experience I wrote a book where I narrate my story and the stories of 8 other people in order to give you tools to face a similar experience. You can purchase this book in English or Spanish on any digital platform or on Amazon in your country. And how was, I am connecting this with your own story. How was for you, for example, to know that you have, a mental illness? Did you think that you were gonna recover and after that, to be fine once again? Or did you know at that time that you were gonna be okay after?
No, so for the ages from 15 to 25, I was just suffering. I was convinced it was all my fault. I'm the loser, everybody else is doing fine, everybody else is smiling and happy, and everybody else is so normal. So if I'm not like that, then I'm the mistake in the system and nobody can help me. And for these years, I was convinced that I would never see my 30th birthday, because before that I would be dead. A future just didn't exist for me. Once I found out the names of my diagnosis, I went into therapy, I understood that it's not just my fault. It changed quite rapidly, because I was thinking, okay, there's books and there's professionals for this, and there would have been help, and this is public knowledge, so why didn't I get this before? And I can't change it, that I lost 10 years of my life to these illnesses. I can't change it for me, but I can change it for other people by changing the conversation. And as soon as I went into therapy and I read about other people's experience and how they learned to live with their diagnosis, there was hope. It took a while, and to beat all these demons inside of you, it really took a while. The hope was not there immediately, but there was like a little ray at the end of the tunnel, so maybe there is a future somewhere back there. And today, maybe I can be that voice for a person that is experiencing this darkness. And I know, well, I've been there, and I know at the moment you can't believe it, but one step at a time, and it'll be so worth it, although it's very, very exhausting, and there will be relapses and mistakes and all of that, but everything brings you closer to a new version of you and to a life maybe still with the illnesses, but you're in control, or maybe even beyond. So for me, for 5-6 years, I don't match any of my diagnosis criteria anymore. So I'm healthy, if you want to put it like that. I'm still working on my mental health, but at the moment I'm diagnosed free.
Do you think that we all should care about our mental health then?
Yes. I mean, it's like with brushing your teeth. I think every person should brush their teeth twice a day. Most people do it because they know if they don't do it, there will be not so nice consequences. And there is something very small you can do every single day for your mental health.
If you can give us 3 recommendations of how to take care of our mental health.
Maybe we start with a check-in to see where you are. Because most people, yeah, well, I'm fine, everything is okay, I have a roof and I have work and everything's okay. But we created this little check-in to just give you an idea how your mental health is doing. So for the one thing, you can look at your sleep. How do you sleep? Do you fall asleep easy, or do you always need TV or a podcast running in the background? With what kind of feeling do you wake up? Because sleep is for many people one of the first alarm signs that our mental health sends something is not okay, something's not okay. Another thing you can look at is, how do you talk to yourself? Because we know from studies, people with a good mental health, their inner voice is more like a good friend. While for many people out there, same for me for so many years, this inner voice, it was more like my worst enemy, always pushing me, kicking me. Well, you look shit today. Well, this meeting, you really didn't do a good job there. So we really always talk so hard to ourselves. And we know from studies, it's a good sign of mental health when you more talk to yourself like a good friend. And the other thing is, I'm putting you in a room, in an empty room. There is nothing in there, no books, no music, no smartphone, nothing. It's just you and your head. What does that do to you? Is it like, oh yes, please, can I go there right now? Or is it more like a bit uncomfortable because you don't really like to spend time with yourself? So these are just 3 of many, many indicators you can look at. And if one of these questions makes you a bit uncomfortable, it doesn't mean, oh, there's a huge problem. It just gives you an idea that maybe there are some topics that are worth looking at.
Yeah. Good. Actually, one of the things that I really see in my stress management courses and everything, you cannot change something that you cannot see.
Yeah.
So this check-in also goes into that part, no? You first need to be able to be aware of the whole situation, of the whole picture.
Awareness is always the first step, but I mean, the world nowadays makes it so easy to run from ourselves. We can always have the TV on, go to parties, meet with friends, look at our emails, look at our social media, so that we don't have to listen to what's going on. So spending some time with yourself without any distractions, it was the worst thing I could imagine when I really did everything to not have to listen to my own thoughts or to what was going on in my head. I always had music on, always TV, because I just didn't want to hear or see what was going on there. But I had to look, and I had to see all this darkness or this pain, whatever there was, to then start unpacking it and work with a therapist. But that was the beginning of it all. And if you ask me, so what can we do each and every single day? I mean, one thing is you can learn from your smartphone. How full is your battery right now? And I'm not talking about your smartphone, but about your own battery. Because like our smartphones, we do have a limited amount of energy. But most of us, we take better care of our smartphone's battery than of our own. And you know it. If you do lots of gaming or lots of YouTubing, then your battery of your phone will be dead quite quick. If you only check mails now and then, or just have 1 or 2 apps open, it will last longer. And our apps, our lives, they have apps as well. It's work, it's family, it's news, it's social media, it's sport, it's pets, it's whatever. And the thing is that all these apps that cost us energy, they are there whatever we do. We have to go to the dentist, we have to work, we have to take the garbage out, we have to do our taxes. These are there. But the things that recharge us, no matter what it is, meeting with friends, going on the mountains, doing sports, we have to plan them, we have to do them. And taking care of our own battery is the part of our mental health that we can control. We cannot control our genes or what life is doing to us, but taking care of the battery, this is something we can work with. So checking in every time that you brush your teeth, ask yourself, how full is my battery right now? Am I in the red, 0 to 25, in the orange, 25 to 50, in the yellow, 50 to 75, or am I in the green? And in the beginning, it might be a bit hard, or you have to do it a while to really get used to your own battery. And then you can understand yourself better, because maybe sometimes you wake up with a battery of 30% and you go into the office and your colleague makes a joke which normally wouldn't have affected you. But today it somehow, you're immediately close to tears or shouting at him or whatever. And then when you look at your battery, you see, oh, it's early morning and I'm down to 30% because I had a row with my partner. I have a backache, and then there is the dentist appointment tonight, and then I have to meet my mother-in-law, and then I watch the news. So a lot of things that are already draining your battery. And so you can sometimes understand yourself better, and you cannot always immediately change your whole day when you realize, oh, my battery is down to 20%. Boss, I'm going home now, I have to take off. I mean, that would be brilliant. But maybe there are some little things that you can do. Maybe just lower the expectations you have in yourself, or maybe for the evening you can plan some recharging activities. And it also helps you to understand others better, because if your partner tells you my battery is 20%, you will act differently towards him or her than if he says my battery is at 80%. You don't have to know what's going on, but you just know, okay, he's down or she's down to 20%, so I might not do the difficult conversation I was thinking about doing today. Maybe I'm going to do that next week. So the battery metaphor is a really nice tool to visualize mental health without getting too complicated, and really to see in your life there is a balance.
In Buddhism, people say that it's to follow the middle path. But that's very hard, because it's not going to the extremes, which is not going to the extremely negative or not going to the extremely positive, but staying in the middle, and that's usually the answer to everything. But when you go to the practice, it's like
I mean, just really encouraging people to in whatever way they feel comfortable to deal with mental health. If you're reading about it, if you're watching documentaries, if you talk to a friend, if you download an app, whatever it is, there are so many puzzle pieces and so many ways. There is no one golden way to mental health, but just realizing you have one. Congratulations, everybody has one. So try to figure out what is good for your mental health. Don't look left and right what people do for their batteries or what they do for their mental health, but really ask yourself, does this feel good for me? Really, truly? I know what it is, what it means to not have mental health, and it sucks. I really have to put it like that. And today I have mental health, and my life is so much more colorful, more intense, more brilliant. It's great. I mean, it doesn't mean that every day the sun is shining and just rainbows and unicorns. But if there are times when it's not so good, I know what I can do, and it just doesn't drown me. So find your way to your own mental health, and know that it is okay if it's fun and if you enjoy it. This is really brilliant.
Okay, many thanks, Dominique. Many thanks once again for this interview. It was really a pleasure to have you here, and I hope this is not the only time. But yeah, so many thanks. Thank you for everyone to watch this interview, in this very interesting interview, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.